Oh, what a day! What a lovely day!
Welcome to Flat Earth Debate Live. I'm your host Nathan Oakley, and if you are new to this channel or you've not done so already, then be sure to subscribe and hit the bell notification icon to keep up to date with the Flat Earth Debate. If you'd like to join the community debate, then go to nathanoakley.com and check out the Flat Earth Debate forum, which you should definitely all join. If you'd like to support the channel, there is a super chat that runs alongside each of these shows while they are live. There's also a PayPal, Patreon and crypto link in the info box below the video. Most importantly, if you'd like to join the panel, then simply mute the page you are currently watching, then click the link in the info box below this video to express your views on, and I'm going to change this for the first time, hopefully I'll get it right, to express your views on the nature of Earth. Yeah. Be sure to share the show on Facebook and Twitter. Sharing the show obviously increases the live audience, but this in turn increases the chances of a more diverse panel. So please share the show on Facebook and Twitter. And one last time, if you're new to the channel or you've not done so already, then be sure to subscribe and hit the bell notification icon to keep up to date with the Flat Earth Debate. Now we are joined by Paul, Mind Warped, Flatzoid, and 10th Man. Very good to have you first and foremost.
Good morning.
Good evening.
Good afternoon.
Good morning.
Good
to see you remove shape out of the intro there. Well done.
Yeah, I almost didn't have brain fart right at the beginning. I was like, oh yeah, I've got to change to make up. I know what have I got to change? And while I'm speaking it, I'm thinking, what have I got to change? What am I going to change? Just couldn't remember. Right, we were also joined by a whole bunch of people on Discord, so I'll have to unmute some of the people who have already been talking or already off mute. But hello to everyone in Discord.
Hello.
Howdy, boys.
Good night.
Howdy, howdy.
Okay, so in the Discord server we have got Brenda, Darren, Dougie, Earth-Shaped Investigator, Mad something, Ping, Hair, and Zoomer. I hate these names at this distance. I'm going to get a better screen. I will be able to read these better in future. Hello, one and all. Or translated into internet speak, let's just kill the conversation. So, hey Arwin.
Hello.
There you go. That's
Hey,
how an
Arwin.
intro's done. Hello, and then a hello
Great.
back. Right.
Has Brenda been banned now?
Brenda's never going to get
Sit
banned.
through another
No,
second
Brenda's
of that nonsense.
You might get
He's
kicked
in the
out of the
Discord.
show. Should we welcome back on the next show? It's been the same intro for quite a while. Anyway, who's going to start off the housekeeping?
Any scientific?
Go ahead.
That's fine.
Go ahead, my friend.
Any scientific evidence of gravity?
No.
No.
Nope. None at all.
Aberrations.
Any signs of Earth curvature?
Alas, no.
Nope.
No.
Any evidence of the distance
No
to the sun?
destination.
No apparent
No.
distance.
No.
No measured.
Exactly.
Any evidence of the
Nope.
radius of the Earth, the R value?
R, no.
Not here.
Yeah.
Radius
there
of
being
the
no
Earth?
value.
No. An R value? Sure. The
Yes, they
value-
have an R value. Do they have any evidence of its validity?
Presuppositionally so.
Very quiet in the Discord server. Any evidence of a self-perpetuating molten iron core at the centre of a presupposed spherical Earth? Come on.
Do you have any evidence of a flat Earth?
Yeah, it's all around you.
Yeah, just walk outside.
Any
now.
whatsoever?
Say it again? I didn't quite hear that. Say it again.
Do you guys have literally any evidence whatsoever that could be construed as scientific that constitutes a flat Earth, other than the horizon being flat, which is also true on a globe Earth the size of the globe?
Okay, well, there's two points there to address. First and foremost, the shape of the Earth Earth being flat falls outside of scientific inquiry. It's not a cause and effect relationship now, is it? That's the first thing. The second thing is the horizon being flat. Now, you won't get that asserted here as a proof of flat Earth. The horizon is an apparent position where the sky meets the ground. Unfortunately, the sky doesn't meet the ground. It's an apparent position. It means nothing in reference to measurements. So 2 counts, 2.
So what I got from that was that scientifically you can't say either way what the shape of the Earth is because it's not scientific.
Correct.
It's not a cause and effect relationship. The Earth is obviously and observably flat.
But the whole
So
of
any
science
scientific
is not
evidence of
cause
an
and
Earth
effect.
shape?
Sorry,
How about a new housekeeping question, Nathan? Any scientific evidence of an Earth shape?
I'm going to get away from shape. I'm changing the intro to the nature of the Earth. I'm not going to say shape again.
But
I
that's
might
the whole thing.
accidentally.
You can't have gas pressure without a container, so why not ask for scientific evidence of an Earth shape?
Well,
But
it'll.
you,
Well,
you
flat
just
isn't
said
the
you
shape.
can't have.
Let's
You
take
just
that
said
into
you can't
consideration.
have evidence of the
Exactly.
because it's not a scientific question.
Right, Brenda. A
Yeah.
malformed question.
So it's a complete waste of time.
Like you.
So, what do you mean it's a complete waste of time? It just falls outside of science.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So you
unlike a lot
can't
of.
say what it is or isn't.
Sorry, falling outside of science doesn't mean we can't say what it is or isn't. It also doesn't stop globalists from asserting causal relationships and using their reification fantasy of a globe-shaped Earth as the cause of things. So, yeah,
Do
scientific
you know what?
endeavours.
Do you
Oh, my bad. Obviously, I was done.
do you know what the word reification even means, Nathan?
Yeah, I do.
What does it mean?
It's the fallacy of misplaced concretedness. Hypothesization. Very difficult word to say.
Hypostaticization.
Yeah. Better than I could do.
Hypothesization?
That's how I say it. It's wrong.
It means taking as real something that isn't real. Like
Yeah,
for instance,
like the heliocentric
Like a globe.
model, for example. It's a model.
No,
We don't live in
that-
models, do we?
yeah, that wouldn't be the reification fallacy.
It's just a model, though, isn't it? The heliocentric description of our world is just a model. It's not where we live, is it, Brenda? That would be reification.
No, it's not. You don't understand what reification is.
I do. We don't live on a model.
But that's not the reification fallacy.
Yeah, it is. When you believe that you live in the heliocentric world, like that's reality. It's not. It's just a model.
No, but that's just not the reification fallacy.
Yeah, it is. You do it all the time. You're a fundy. You're guilty of it every time you come here. You reify that model into your existence. That's reification, the very definition of it. The map is not the terrain.
No.
We don't live on a model.
Yeah, understanding the map is not the terrain is not the reification fallacy.
Yeah, it is. It's the definition of it. It says it. If you look it up in Wikipedia, it even says, quote, the map is not the terrain. Well, your model...
Correct.
Your model, or map of the stars, depending on what part of the model you'll pick out and not presumably actually present, we never get to see this model. But what's in your mind only, you reify, like we are actually on a spinning ball in a vacuum. We're not. That's just a model.
No, understanding that a model represents reality.
The model doesn't represent reality. That's reification by very definition. Models do not represent reality. They're just models. Reality is reality. You're reifying your model into reality.
Like this? Are we going to have another Brenda basically declares everything inside out and it's going to be constantly that the entire hangout? Are we going to do that again?
Possibly. Shout out to Jennifer
Oh,
Winterburn,
okay.
who says, well said, Nathan. Perfect example. And then a little clap. Thank you very much, Jennifer. Really appreciate your support.
If models don't represent reality, then you could say the same thing of like cameras, for example. If I take a picture of something and what I see in the picture is exactly the same as what I see in reality, but you're saying, well, it's not the same.
It's not, no.
the same thing.
No, it's not.
Well, it's
just optics.
okay. It isn't the actual thing that it took a picture of, but it's a representation of it, which is a fairly accurate one, as experienced.
Yeah.
Oh, right,
And
that's
that would
fascinating.
not be the reification fallacy.
Well, it depends. If you think you live in the picture, then you could reify a picture into existence, or describe
but
how strawberry tastes based on its picture.
No,
when you can't actually
that's
take.
not what I'm saying.
Yeah, I
Nathan.
haven't quite finished
If-
my
if I
sentence, my
have,
friend.
like,
I was still in the
for
middle of
example, if
talking.
I have,
That
like, a
was
tree
me in
in
the
my
middle of a
garden.
sentence, my friend. That doesn't mean just start talking while I'm in the middle of a sentence, now does it? Thank you. So if you were to look at a strawberry and describe what it tastes like, you can't actually take the strawberry from the picture and experience that strawberry. You only get one aspect, a two-dimensional aspect, a moment in time captured by a lens on photographic film or a sensor. That's it.
That's straw man and wordplay. It's not.
Sorry, fuck you. That's not a straw man. You can't taste a fucking strawberry that's on a picture, you stupid cunt.
That's
Not a straw
totally
man.
Straw man.
Excuse me, you daft twat. Not a straw man. A picture
Yeah. it
cannot
is
be
a straw man.
tasted, now can it? Not a straw man, a fact. So it's not reality.
I was
Strawberries can't be
talking-
tasted from a picture.
I was
It's not
talking about an
strawberry.
actual
Picture.
tree and a
It doesn't
picture of a
taste of
tree.
strawberry. Now you're just going to rumpus the shit out of me. Explain how I've used a straw man by first defining what a straw man fallacy is, then explain how I've done that. Go.
Okay, how is a picture of a tree not an
That's
accurate
not what I
represent-
asked. Explain what a straw man. Open your ears, Dumbo, clearly deaf. Listen carefully. Explain what a straw man fallacy is, then detail how what I said is that. Go.
You moved the goalposts and then debunked a point.
You're going to get
about
kicked
the
out. I'll
goalposts
ask
that
you
you've
one last
moved.
chime, and if you don't give me a response, you will be
just
removed
explained
from
it
this
to you.
conversation. You've accused me of
He just
something.
explained it to you.
Brenda,
He explained
I'll
it.
shut you up straight away then. Right, let's mute Brenda. I'm not talking to you. Or are you going to manage to keep your mouth shut while I tear a strip off this dick? Excuse me, Dick. You've accused
I
me
do
of a straw
apologise
man
that you're wrong,
fallacy.
Nathan,
Dick,
and you can't
listen
see
up. Dick, you've accused me of a straw man. First, tell me what a straw man is. Then tell me how I've done what you claim a straw man is. Go.
You've done the same thing you do every day in this conversation, Nathan. Is that you've gone, you've
Take over the world?
Shut up, Dick. Get out. You're not part of this conversation anymore. You're not going to accuse me of something and then back it up by saying, you're doing the same thing you always do. No, you haven't detailed what a straw man is. I have absolutely no idea that this dick hasn't got the vaguest idea what a straw man is. Just a word he hears being used.
Well, he was... Nah. He was partially correct, though.
Oh, here we go.
You do something every day, though.
Oh, that bit? Well, that's
You
not what
do
I'm
what
talking
you do
about.
every day.
I do this every day, yes. That's not what I was
Yes.
talking about, though. Straw man fallacy I was
over
not
the
guilty of,
world.
was I, Arwin? Come on.
But that is it, right? You do what you do every day. Take over the world.
You know, Brenda said a couple of minutes ago on reification, taking as real something that isn't. Isn't that what they
Yeah.
do? Isn't that what you do?
Yeah, nobody thinks that photographs or models are real.
No, I'm talking about your term. Taking as real something that isn't. Is that what you do too?
Yeah, nobody thinks that a model is in fact the real thing. It's a model.
Yeah, you do. Do you want an example? Do we, as a sphere Earth, travel around the sun?
Yes.
That's just a model, you stupid cow. That's called the heliocentric model. Heliocentric, sun at centre. That's a model. We don't live in a model. We don't travel around the sun. That's just a way of describing our world with a model. And you think we do travel around the sun? Oh, well then you've reified that model, bonehead.
No, I just say that it represents reality.
Well, it doesn't. It's called the heliocentric model. It's a way of describing us travelling around the sun being at the centre. It's a model called heliocentric model. Not reality, not what the world does. Just your reification of a model.
Can I get from one city to the next city with a map, Nathan?
Who cares?
Isn't a map a model of the roads that can get me from one place to the next?
No. Does it tell you what the weather conditions are like on the roads, for example? Will it tell you if the roads are completely flooded? Will it tell you that? No. So it might be the case that the model you're presenting that will get you from A to B is actually flooded on the way. But it won't tell you that, will
Yeah.
it? Because it's not representative
It's
of reality. It doesn't take into account those things, does it? Because it doesn't represent reality. It's just a map. The map is not the
it-
terrain. It's just a reification. If you believe that is representative of your world, it's not. It might be aspects of it, but that's it. So what?
Yeah,
Like the
that's
strawberry, we
what a
can't
model
taste
does
it. Can't taste it. Can't get a temperature from it. There's a whole bunch of things we can't do with it because it's not reality.
That's right. Models necessarily reduce reality to a few essential characteristics that we're concerned about. I'm not concerned about weather. I'm concerned about where the roads are, which exit I take to get to the city.
All right.
That's
clearly
what a model
you're
is.
not a driver, then, are you?
It's a schematic.
It would be a
That's it.
guide. A guide.
That's
Guide,
just directions.
schematic.
That's just directions.
Yeah, that's a model. Directions are a model.
So what? Nobody's saying you can't have models, but when you reify them into reality by saying we travel around the sun, then that's reification. We don't live in a model, but you think we do travel
Yeah,
around the sun.
yeah.
That's just a model.
No, but it's wrong. Maps are
I
not
don't think
models.
we-
They're just a guide. That's it. You even said it.
If I have a
They're
map
a guide.
and
They're
it
not
tells
a
me,
model.
if I have a map and it tells me that the roads are laid out in this way, then that's just true. The roads are
No,
laid out
that's
in this
your
way. It doesn't
guide.
tell me
That's your
everything
guide.
about
It's the
them.
replacement of an actual person showing you the way. That's it. It's a guide. It's not a model.
Yeah, that's right. Directions and guides are models.
You out of your mind?
No, she's right. So what?
Of course they are.
So what? That doesn't
Of course
mean we
they are.
live in a model.
And so
Guide is not a model. It's a person.
the model of the heliocentric Earth is a guide to understanding the relationship of the Earth and the Sun and all the other planets. It's a guide.
Well,
Yeah,
then
it's
a
why
representation.
don't you accept Charlotte, North Carolina to LA 1.5 hours on your model?
I don't see the relevance.
Well,
So
what do you mean
everybody
you don't see?
understands.
Oh, well, then let him explain.
You
No, he was
say
quiet.
that the Earth is spinning, right?
Yeah, of course it is.
At the equator, 1,000 miles per hour, approximately, correct?
Uh,
15 degrees an hour. Yes, you're right.
And Charlotte, North Carolina, and LA, approximately 860 miles per hour. Would you agree with that?
If you've done the math correctly on that, I suppose. Okay.
Okay, great. So if the Earth is coming at you west to east, and you're in an airplane going east to west, the flight should take 1.5 hours, but it doesn't.
Well, have you heard of the conservation of momentum?
oh,
Have you heard about tasting strawberries from a picture?
No, that's relevant, right?
No, what's relevant is this, that if something is spinning underneath you, it's spinning underneath you. Why don't you accept that?
Because of conservation of momentum, I'm spinning with it.
But you're going towards it.
Oh, so hold on, just to interrupt. So Brenda thinks there's no Coriolis effect on her model that she reifies. No Coriolis effect.
Coriolis is very real. Of course it is.
Yeah, no. On Earth, though, if it's conserving the momentum, it's not having any Coriolis effect. There's no deviation or apparent deviation for it going into a second reference frame if it's conserving any momentum.
You're reifying reference frames, Nathan.
Oh, you're a stupid cow. I'm not reifying.
can we now
reference
kick
frames.
her? This is going to be exactly like yesterday.
No, she's
Please.
caught in her own trap, Arwen. She's caught in, now she's double
Yeah,
speaking.
she's going to do it every day and every day, again and again and again. It's going to be the Brenda show. Thanks.
No,
Actually,
it's
I came on. I was rather hoping to talk about something completely different. We got into this because of the other person. I'm willing to drop this if I could address something else.
No, I'd like an answer to my question before you drop it and conveniently run away.
Oh, okay. Okay, well,
So if the Earth-
you just have to understand
I'm
the
keen
laws
to
of
hear what
motion.
Brenda was wanting to come here and ask.
Well, do you
just-
mind?
just,
I was having a conversation.
Okay, let's just get some control. So, 10th Man's brought up an example, specifically an example of the Coriolis effect. Now, Brenda's using a straw man of conservation of momentum, something that would negate the Coriolis effect. In other words, the example given by 10th Man would no longer happen given her description. So she's sidestepping the Coriolis effect, it would seem. I don't know why, but we'll find out. Go ahead.
The Coriolis effect is irrelevant to the 10th Man's question. It has no bearing on it.
So 10th Man's detailed Coriolis effect as described on Earth. There is supposed to be a spinning ball, one reference frame, non-inertial, and an inertial reference frame, which balls, as Neil deGrasse Tyson describes, will fly through and have the Earth rotate underneath. It absolutely speaks to what 10th Man's described. So, Brenda, it seems that you want to change the subject because you're being battered.
So you don't understand Coriolis effect, you don't understand reification error, and you don't understand...
Let's shut her up. Coriolis effect is the effect of an apparent deviation when you are travelling on a non-inertial reference frame and the projectile, for example a ball, travels into the inertial reference frame in a straight line and the non-inertial reference frame continues to rotate underneath. Because you, on the non-inertial reference frame, continue to rotate underneath, you will observe an apparent deviation. A ball seeming to take a curved path, when in reality it takes a straight path. It is not the ball that curves, Brenda. It is you on the non-inertial reference frame. So just to be absolutely clear, without any Google searching, off the top of my head, and without any scripts, I can pretty much describe in 3 or 4 sentences precisely what Coriolis effect is. I absolutely understand it. Okay, love?
You don't understand. You don't understand how to apply it, and it has nothing to do with his question, which is about the laws of conservation of motion.
No, it's not. He's describing Coriolis effect, and again, what Brenda is doing for the other, what was his title? Dick is using a straw man. He's describing reference frames, 2 separate reference frames, specifically in reference to the Earth spinning. He gave a preamble about what he was going to describe, spinning ball Earth. He also described 2 separate reference frames. That's Coriolis effect. Yeah, simple.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is.
Understand? You don't understand these things, Nathan.
Shut up!
That's no worries. Every time a globehead tells me that I don't understand Coriolis effect, I will detail it again, showing that they are a liar, because I can concisely summarise it as many times as they tell me I don't understand it. The Coriolis effect, exampled with a roundabout. You sit on the roundabout, spinning, holding a ball, and you throw the ball. The non-inertial reference frame being the spinning roundabout. When the ball leaves your hand into the inertial reference frame of the air above the roundabout, it travels in a straight line. But because you continue to rotate underneath on the non-inertial reference frame, the roundabout, it appears to take a curved path. But in reality, it's travelling straight, but because you rotate underneath, it appears to deflect. That is a summary of the Coriolis effect. You will not find it described any other way. It is accurate. Brenda's just a liar. She likes to lie about my understanding of these things because it doesn't conform with her ball Earth reification.
But none of that has anything to do with 10th Man's example.
10th Man's example is of a spinning ball Earth with a flight travelling from Charlotte, North Carolina to LA in the inertial reference frame, like the ball described by Neil deGrasse Tyson, or the bullet described by many a fundy who come on this debate. The ball travels in a straight line. The bullet travels in a straight line. The plane travels in a straight line. And the Earth continues to rotate underneath. It's a non-inertial reference frame that's rotating beneath bullets, balls, and planes in your reification fantasy. Did you take your bride out to dinner yet, Nathan? No, Thursday, JQ. I will, though, absolutely. Very excited about it, too.
Yeah, but
thank you for your super
none
chat.
of that had anything to do with his question.
It had absolutely everything to do with this question. Go ahead, 10th Man. Do you want to repeat your question?
Yes, it did. You must have 2 reference frames for Coriolis. Will you admit to that? Yes or no?
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Well, then let's kick her out.
God,
Let's kick her out then. Bye-bye. You're too dumb to have this conversation then. It's time for you to leave. Bye-bye.
I agree.
Brenda is the martyr of
That was
retard.
wonderful.
No, she was projecting.
Wonderful.
It's okay. It's okay when people are dumb. They project a lot. So me, I can concisely summarise what 10th Man described, 2 reference frames. That's Coriolis effect. And she said, I don't know what you're talking about. Well, with such a simplistic description from 10th Man, you'd expect her to know, given that she's told me I don't know. So you'd expect her to know what she's telling me I don't know, concisely summarising it 3 times. Yeah. Shout out to Amanda Young. Nathan, you have to explain to the baller in dumb terms. Yeah, 2 reference frames, roundabout and ball. Ball straight line, you rotate underneath. Ball, like Earth in your model. There you go, as dumb as I can make it.
That sounded exactly like Laurie.
Laurie, the Christian Glober.
Laurie, what are we talking about? You just don't understand. You're so stupid.
Oh, did it come across as like a piss take Oriental? Oh, well, that was more. I was going for
It sounded
dumb.
a little like Laurie.
I was going for dumb. Okay, dumb didn't work.
Well, I think Laurie kind of sounds dumb, so...
There's a problem with her conservation of momentum. Let's say that plane takes off and is heading towards Los Angeles, right? What if it decided to have to turn and go back? Because you'd have to try to make up that speed, right? So the plane would have to start trying to go faster to catch up with itself.
Oh, it's a crock of crap. It flies in the face of Coriolis effect. Coriolis effect requires you leave the non-inertial reference frame and enter the inertial reference frame. You leave the spinning Earth and enter the air. Like the football, like the bullet that they claim. It's just they have to double speak it when it gets to the aeroplane. Oh, well, it doesn't affect an aeroplane, even though that's in the air for a lot longer. Oh, right. Well, why is that then? Oh, well, because of my bullshit. Well, that bullshit doesn't speak to 2 reference frames. Oh, I don't know what you're talking about. Totally plays dumb, right? That's their little shtick. Anyway, they just double talk their way around single reference frame. And if you're saying that the energy is conserved, then you've only got 1 reference frame. It's not leaving the inertial reference frame if you're conserving the energy. Well, then you've only got 1 reference frame and no Coriolis effect. So that's what they'll dance between. 1 reference frame, no Coriolis effect when there's none exampled, because there isn't any Coriolis effect. Earth isn't spinning. But when that's painfully obvious, they have to explain their example with 1 reference frame, which is not conducive to Coriolis. 10th Man has spotted, very cleverly, how to boil this argument down to about 3 sentences and have them over the ropes like that. So if you're watching and you're having these arguments, pay attention like 10th Man has, and you'll have someone over a barrel in about 3 sentences with Coriolis effect. Get them to concede the necessary constituent parts that Earth must have to give rise to Coriolis. What must Earth have for there to be Coriolis effect? 2 reference frames. Now, as soon as they've conceded that, that's what Coriolis effect is. You don't need Coriolis from that point on. You can just get rid of it from the argument. You don't need to argue about what Coriolis effect is. You just need to get them to concede what Earth has to have in order for it to have a Coriolis effect. What's it got to have? 10th Man beautifully boiled it right down. So Earth's got two reference frames, right, Brenda? We'll agree to that. It's just instant. Right, you're screwed. Well done, 10th Man. That was epic.
Well, my hat's off to you and QE for great lessons from past shows.
It's interesting to note that Gaspard Gustave de Coriolis, he continued his father's work, and his father was Honoré Gaspard de Coriolis, who was a Jesuit vicar at the Roman Catholic Diocese of Mendes and served as a canon in the Notre Dame of Paris, in a Roman cathedral in Paris. Another Jesuit load of BS.
What about Coriolis himself?
I'm pretty sure he was a Jesuit as well.
Oh,
well, if his
shit.
dad was, I'm
Of
sure
course.
he probably was.
Hmm.
His father
Yeah.
was a Jesuit priest. He was canonized in Notre Dame.
And
So that would mean that, and Gustave most definitely would have been a Jesuit as well.
It's a canon.
I don't know if that is automatically so, but does
What's
make
a-
it a
I
lot
would
more.
say it would be. If you know what the Jesuits are like, yeah, they're pretty ruthless. I would say that it would have been passed down to his son.
Mm-hmm.
Seeing
Well,
that his
they
son-
try. They always try. It doesn't always work though.
Well, it does say that he carried on his father's work, so
Mhm. I'm just
Yeah.
saying that, like, every time when these types of lies and everything are transited to the next generation, it's always the confrontation with, yeah, you have to realize that this is actually fake. It's like waking them up from Santa Claus to help out with the Santa Claus act. That's
It's
how,
all been
and
a
if the
slow
kids,
programming.
but the kids can have like a giant backlash from that, and then decide they want nothing to do with their family anymore. That also happens. So
Yeah, it just goes to show how far back the brainwashing began, because the Jesuits, you know, they own the part of the Smithsonian, so pretty much the Smithsonian runs all the education systems worldwide, you know. And this Coriolis is just a prime example of that. You know, they've worked this out to work slowly. So, you know, it's going to take a lot of work to, you know, get the truth out. It's actually interesting that Notre Dame burnt down as well. Maybe that's got something to do with that the whole load of bullshit's coming down in flames.
maybe, or maybe the act is going to be dropped, and there's a new act in the workings, for which we won't be prepared. I don't know. But we have an
Yeah, I just thought
opportunity
it
now
was
to
interesting.
unravel this giant painting of our past. And we are.
You don't think the useful stuff's already gone down the memory hole?
What do you mean?
I mean, all we're left with is the narrative that's deemed spin-worthy for the public consumption by the elites. Well, I mean, whatever narrative you seek out is presumably going to be controlled in their favour to a certain extent. Yeah, you're going to obviously find some truth along the way, but it's all spin, isn't it? The way that history's
They're
been...
never going to be able to fully fix it. And it's like they can't.
Yeah, it's
They
so
can't close the loop.
deeply
It's too
ingrained.
risky.
Maybe.
Because they need people that are kind of aware of it. They'll go along with it to hold back the people that go maniacal over it.
But other
They
than the...
need those in the, if it's too close looped, if nobody with some critical thought has any kind of ability to realize it, then the fanatics about it will cause actual havoc and like take the White House when they basically say, yeah, sorry, we're not going to the moon. That kind of shit. So they have to kind of muddy the water a little, I think. And that's what they have been doing so noticeably.
When the human race is slowly losing the skill to have critical thought, you know, no one thinks of themselves anymore. Everyone
Yeah,
likes
but
to
what
blame
happens
everyone else
when
for
they do?
everything.
It's happening.
The baller religious fanatics will go and basically demand the illusions made real.
It's
And you don't know
happening,
how far they will go with that eventually.
Arwen. It's happening because a lie can be broken down as a lie. Just like with Brenda, 2 reference points, bam, loses. That's what we're doing. I mean, I just looked up Jesuit schools in America, and Wikipedia says there's 380 secondary schools and 190 colleges and universities, Georgetown being one of them. So, yeah, they got the podium to
Yeah, but
brainwash
then you've also
everybody.
got to look at the Smithsonian as well, 10th. Like the Smithsonian is Jesuit as well, and
Yeah,
they own fucking
who cares?
most of the
They are the
education system
destroyer.
worldwide.
Can I finish my statement? Who cares?
Smithsonian are the gatekeepers of history and the
Who cares?
destroyers of evidence.
Who cares? The light takes out the darkness. Let's keep it up.
Why are you so concerned with what history has to say? I'm not saying it's not interesting, but given that we know that there's a whole pack of lies in terms of our current rhetoric, and there's even current scientific discovery that flies in the face of the current models that they present in schools, why would you need to look to the past anyway, other than figuring out the motivation of the people that potentially lied to you? What's the point?
Yeah,
Getting a proper
I didn't mean
context.
to. I didn't mean to bring it up. I was looking up who came up with the Coriolis effect, and just went back, and then I went back to his dad, and it said he was a Jesuit priest, and I just thought it was interesting. Then just brought back some previous research I just did on the Jesuits and how they've infiltrated everything. So yeah, sorry.
That's fair enough.
Who
It is
benefits?
interesting.
Who benefits with a globe model?
Well,
The ones
they
that
do
control the mechanism.
because they want to control us.
No, but who benefits?
The designers, of course.
Well, when I asked Quantum Erase this question, he said, divining people's motivation is the acme of foolishness. And I've got to agree. How are you ever going to know the motivation behind the deception? Probably wouldn't even find out the root
I'm
of
not
it.
trying to get, I'm sorry. I'm not
That's all
trying to
right.
get the motivation. I'm saying if we take just this last episode with Brenda, when we bring up 2 reference points, hey, they're the ones who say Coriolis exists. I mean, we know Coriolis exists on a roundabout, but there's no Earth-based Coriolis because the plane would obviously prove it, but the plane doesn't prove it. So right there, that's why is he stuck in that lie?
No, it's a body of science slam attempt. Just
It's
if it
difficult.
doesn't work, if the argument doesn't works, to prevent the cracks from showing, throw the entire body of science at it, even though it can all be dispelled just one by one by one by one by one. That's what she's doing. It's literally pandering, like wasting our time.
Okay, you went off to another part of it, which I don't blame you because it does wear you out after a while listening to Brenda. But what I'm trying to say is that they're the ones who came up with Coriolis Earth-based type. And we're the ones saying, well, if Coriolis is this, then why not this? And right there, they die. Now, if they don't want to admit they die, I move on to the next person until someone like who came on Discord today, who for 28 weeks is a flat earther now. Wow, that's true. And so you can't push a rope, but you can pull it. So we still speak the truth. We still show the contradictions. But I'm not going to sit there and argue with a fool for 40 hours when they can't admit to their own Coriolis. I'll just stay on that one point until they just die. It's their point.
Yeah, but they're not gonna die. They're just
They
gonna
do die.
use it
They
as
do die
another
because
part
they
of the entire
strawman.
body of science to body slam you with.
No, I won't let them.
Yes, that's why they keep on bringing it up on a daily
Arwen,
basis, because they don't care.
Arwen,
It doesn't make sense. They're just gonna body slam you with their body of science. That's what they're
Arwen,
doing. That's why it's always the same.
Arwen, I don't let them body slam me, just like I wouldn't let Brenda change the point.
She's taking up the talking time, isn't she?
She's off the show because she ran out of real arguments. That's what happens when you stay on topic and hold their feet to their own words.
That's
Mind if I
not
just
true.
read this comment
she,
out?
she was kicked.
Sorry to interrupt.
Why was she kicked?
Because you finally realized that it was useless and it wasn't going to go anywhere.
No, that's not why she was kicked. Let me just correct. Hold on. Let me get that straight. The reason she was kicked was because she'd accused me of not understanding Coriolis 3 times, and I detailed it 3 times. Then, when 10th man said, I'll paraphrase, I'm talking about 2 reference frames in relation to Earth. Her response, I don't really know what you're talking about.
Yes.
Right? Yeah, at that point, I kicked her out. Because if you're going to accuse me of not understanding what Coriolis effect is 3 times, and then when detailed, 2 reference frames, Earth spinning by 10th man, I don't understand, bye-bye.
Exactly.
So to read out, I only did that so I could have the gap. Paul Ward says, at Nathan Oakley, don't debate advanced physics when you can't figure out why a picture of a strawberry doesn't taste like a strawberry. And why that's not a straw man.
It might if you have flavored ink.
Lick a schnozberry, it tastes like a schnozberry. What's a schnozberry? We are the music makers. We are the dreamers of the dream. Anyway.
That reminds me of Super Troopers, the movie.
Say again?
The snozberries taste like snozberries.
You know, when you
No, no
talk
one
to
hasn't
people
seen that?
about
Okay.
when you talk to people about these subjects and you don't stay on topic, you're on 27 different topics and nothing happens. The key is just staying on the one topic and make it their own religion, which is Coriolis. They don't have an earth-based Coriolis, but we have a roundabout-based Coriolis because Coriolis is real on the roundabout. But if it's real on the roundabout and the earth is spinning, and I mean, the earth is this heliocentric model earth, then it's got to apply to that. But they don't have it because the airplane would prove it. Just like the bullet, just like the football. It's their argument. They'll die with it if you stay on topic.
Yeah, it's just a question of time. Let them spew their nonsense and simultaneously tell you over and over again that you don't understand until they put their foot right in their mouth.
I remember asking somebody, and I never got a good answer. But then again, that's where the discussion would end because they're not willing to stay on topic. I said, if it was proven the earth is not spinning, if it was proven, I'm not saying it is, but just if it was proven the earth was not spinning, would you give up the heliocentric model? No answer. Because if the earth is not spinning, it all dies.
Yeah, it's one of the... It's in the Flat Earth Proofs. So the link that's been below this video for an eternity, but probably rarely clicked on or looked at. People never look at the info box. Anyway, so yeah, it's one of the... Exactly that. If you can establish that there's no chance in hell that we're spinning, then what chance have you got of a ball Earth? Half of their factual proof comes from the fact that there's stuff in the sky moving in reference to Earth, and that's their claim of ball Earth spinning. So if you can debunk that, what have you got left?
The silence is great.
I was going to say, I do like these calm little moments.
I was just quietly pondering, like, you know, the Big Bang and like how was it even possible for, you know, mass to attract a mass together to create a planet? You know, like those two minute little masses had to join together, and then they attracted another mass, and then that grew into the size of the planet, and then the gases and, you know, the volcano created a ball in the middle, and then we had the atmosphere form and then push out and create a
Right.
you know, I'm just like, oh man, how is that even possible? It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, demonstrate it somehow, right? Yeah. I'm mostly concerned with when it comes to the Big Bang is how did everything actually come out of nothing?
Yeah, and
Because
what was
that
there
thing
before?
is never even addressed.
It
You
can't.
don't understand Coriolis, Nathan.
Oh, is it that time again? So Coriolis is an apparent deviation caused by you rotating underneath an inertial reference frame. So the object travels in a straight line, but from your position rotating underneath it appears to take a curved path, when in reality it's taking a straight path. It just appears to curve because you rotate underneath. I absolutely understand the Coriolis effect, just more projection.
You don't understand that definition. You don't understand that just because there is a relative movement of someone, say on the equator, walking, say at 5 miles an hour, or even an aeroplane, that the Coriolis is insignificant in comparison.
Oh, it seems you don't understand Coriolis effect. If you're walking on the non-inertial reference frame, then you're on the non-inertial reference frame. If you're flying, then you're not on the non-inertial reference frame. So it seems that you don't understand. You're clearly stupid. Obviously, to have a Coriolis effect, you've got to leave the non-inertial reference frame. Walking on it wouldn't suit that description. Clearly, you're a moron.
You don't understand, do you, Nathan? That when you move relative to the Earth's surface, you've left the Earth's, well, the Earth's reference frame, you'll know.
You've left it when you're walking. Yes, you are stupid. What a moron. He thinks you leave a surface when you're walking on it. What a complete retard Rumpus is. How thick
You're
are
walking.
you?
That's
What
the
a
definition.
stupid
You moron.
You're a moron.
You are a moron.
You are a moron.
And the fact you don't
You're forgetting to
understand that-
use
You
the
are
word
a moron.
utter, Rumpus.
You
Use
don't
it more.
understand Coriolis, Rumpus. You seem to think that you leave a non-inertial reference frame when you walk on it. That makes you a moron.
You moron.
You moron.
Utter. Utter, 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 utter.
What a stupid
Don't forget
idiot.
it.
Understand the Coriolis so well. Please tell me what the Coriolis force is for, say, an aeroplane.
Oh, the Coriolis force for an aeroplane would be the apparent deflection caused when you observe it travelling in a straight line, but from your position, it appears, i.e. an apparent force, to be deviating.
Right, so tell me what...
Right, oh, so I do know. Oh, now you tell me how somebody walking leaves a non-inertial reference frame.
That's the definition of being a different reference frame, you utter...
I'll ask again. He's just ignored me. I'll ask it over and over again until he listens, because from this point, this is Rumpus's trick. He thinks he's clever, but he's not. What he'll do is he'll talk indefinitely so he doesn't hear me repeat the question. But I'm going to make absolutely sure that should he be listening, he'll get to absolutely hear my question really slowly. I'd like you to describe how somebody walking on a non-inertial reference frame is leaving the non-inertial reference frame. Go.
I missed the start of that. Say it again.
No worries. I'd like you to explain how somebody walking on a non-inertial reference frame is leaving.
Correct! Well done, you've got it. It's a success.
No, not well done. It's a question. I'm asking you, the dick, the moron, the thicko, who described walking on a non-inertial reference frame in reference to Coriolis, and how that is leaving the non-inertial reference frame. I'll say it 15 more times. We've got 10 minutes. I don't mind saying it over and over again to you, a moron
And
retard.
the definition of something...
So he's talking over the top of me now. It's what I pointed out he would do. Rather than listen to the question in detail, which is what he's asked me to do, he'll just rumpus me, talk indefinitely, and not listen to the question, which I will repeat again now. You have declared that walking is an example of Coriolis effect, and I want you, the moron, the thicko, the retard, rumpus, to detail how walking on a non-inertial reference frame is leaving a non-inertial reference frame. Go.
Excellent, you moron.
Can you present me,
Right,
by the way,
because
Nathan?
Right, here we go. You don't understand what a reference frame is, and you don't understand how you leave a reference frame. The definition of being in the same reference frame as something else is having no movement with respect to the other reference frame. You utter.
So I've asked a question. I want you to detail how walking on a non-inertial reference frame is leaving a non-inertial reference frame. And all you seem to do is ignore the question. So I'll ask it again. I don't mind asking it 15 more times for you to answer it with an obfuscation over and over again, Rumpus. I'm going to humiliate you, you total tard. So, Rumpus, I'll ask again. We'll count them up after the show how many times I've asked you this question to detail your example of walking on a non-inertial reference frame and how that's leaving
But relative to a reference...
See, just to open the mic, show he's not listening. He's talking over me constantly rather than listen to the question so he can claim he hasn't heard it. Yeah, what he did last time. I'll highlight the trick, then ask the question again for the tard who's obfuscating his humiliation by not detailing how walking on a non-inertial reference frame is leaving a non-inertial reference frame. See, still talking over me. I don't mind doing this indefinitely, Rumpus, just humiliating you while you use your only trick to get out of this verbal humiliation I'm giving you. Keep rumpusing, my friend, while I make the audience absolutely aware that you're obfuscating this question. How is walking on a non-inertial reference frame leaving a non-inertial
If you
reference
are
frame?
moving relative to a reference frame, you are no longer in the reference frame. This is...
If you are walking relative to it, how are you walking relative to it if you are on it?
Do you? Sorry?
You're not walking relative to it
What's
if
the
you're on it. You're part
If
of
you
it.
are moving relative to a reference frame, you are no longer in the reference frame. That's the definition of being in a different
What?
reference frame. You
What?
utter
No, if you're
moron.
moving
No.
in sync with the reference frame, then you are part of that reference
Yeah,
frame.
that's
Are you
absolutely
an
correct,
idiot?
Darwin. He's just stupid moron. And he thinks that by, what's the words? Ad hominem attack. That's the one. By using an ad hominem attack at the end of his shit explanation and obfuscation of my question, how is walking on a reference frame leaving the reference frame? He's not going to answer because it's a stupid assertion and demonstrates his stupidity in regards to Coriolis effect. Walking on a reference frame
Unless
isn't
the
leaving a
rumpus
reference.
walks funny and has a little jump between each step or something. Little.
No, we're walking.
Yeah.
We're walking.
If you're
I know what
walking
walking
with a
is.
glider or something?
Walking, your feet stay in contact. It's not
Little skip.
running. We were talking about walking. Walking, your feet stay in contact. And all
Yeah,
Rumpus
I'm just
is
having
doing
like
is...
a little vision of like the rumpus, like
That's all right. I've asked
jumping
him
up and down
specifically.
between
he-
each step.
He used the word walking, and I know what walking is. All he's doing in the meantime is rumpusing the shit out of the Discord server so no one can hear a word of what's being said. Basically he's closed down that part of this show.
Aw.
So Nathan,
Hey,
does
I wanna hear it.
this mean Rumpus doesn't believe anymore the air is stuck to the earth?
Oh, I don't know. I mean, you could potentially ask him, but he'll never hear your question because he's basically just talking non-stop in the Discord server.
Well, was he
Why
saying?
don't you ask him to pick from
Was he
the
not-
depiction that you put up on screen? Which one is it? Ask him, and
May I
then you can
continue?
draw the consequences.
May I continue my point? I just want to make sure I understood what his doublespeak was.
These
He's
people are
saying
just
that if
incredible.
you're-
They don't understand the most basic element of all this.
I'll shut him up. You're about to ask him a question. Before you start, he's got to interrupt before you even get the question in, 10th man.
Do you like what I'm sharing? That's what I envision.
Many people talking.
Okay.
All right, thank you. I'm just trying to understand what he's saying. Is he saying that when you're walking, you're leaving the reference frame?
I'll explain to you if you're gonna unmute me. Is you too scared to let me speak? Are you too scared to let me speak?
I'm terrified. I'm really scared.
Oh,
Are you
no,
leaving
you
the
won't.
reference frame when walking? That's his
Correct.
question.
That's the definition of being indifferent.
You are leaving a reference frame when walking on a reference frame. Can we get that in a full
Yes,
quote?
you have a relative velocity to the reference frame of the Earth's surface. Therefore, you're no longer in that reference frame. I mean, the fact you don't understand this and you think this is controversial just defines
So
you as an
Rumpus-
utter moron.
So Rumpus,
Yeah.
now that you've committed
Hello.
to that, how about the air and the atmosphere going with the Earth? What's happening there?
Yeah. Well,
I
the
have
air as
a
a
picture
body
up.
moves. Obviously, you've got winds and things, but it moves with the Earth. Yes, it's in the same reference frame as the atmosphere, as the Earth. Yeah.
Right.
Right.
Oh, wait a
So
minute.
then there's no
Hang on.
Coriolis.
Arwin, let 10th
Arwin.
man. Go ahead, 10th man.
Holy jeepers. So the man walking at a very slow pace leaves the reference frame, and
Correct.
all the wind, atmosphere, and everything doesn't.
Well, obviously, winds are relative. They've left the Earth's reference frame, but the body of the atmosphere, in general, as an overall thing, is in the same reference frame as the Earth's surface.
Say
But
that
the
again,
winds
but a
and
little
things
different.
the winds and things complicate the issue. Obviously, you've got local movement, but if we take the atmosphere as a body, as a whole thing, and pretend it's all solid and isn't moving with having winds in it, then yes, it is in the same
Well,
reference frame.
either-
as the
Where they're
surface.
being
Sorry,
pretend.
just one
Excuse
note.
me.
The
Please don't
atmosphere.
interrupt.
Sorry, 10th man. Just got to get this note in. So the atmosphere is not solid. It's gas. It's an anisotropic, inhomogeneous mixture of gases.
Yeah, it's complicated. So, but if
No, it's just not solid as you described in your example. So you're just stupid, a moron, because you've described gas as a solid. Gas is fundamentally
literally
not a
just said,
solid.
let's pretend it's
Sorry, can I
solid.
just? Sorry, mind warped.
Sorry.
You moron, Rumpus.
Come on.
You used the word solid when describing gas. You are retarded on a level beyond comprehension. The gas is a gas and fundamentally not solid.
to make it simple for you,
It's just rumpusing me while I tear a strip off him. The audience will still hear me pointing out that you have used the word solid when describing gas. You utter moron.
Morons, unfortunately.
Yeah, it's just rumpusing me with ad homs while I actually detail how stupid he is for describing a gas as solid. What a moron.
Muting moron.
Yeah, you're rumpusing me, Rumpus. I'm pointing out that you use the word solid. You're not addressing my argument, but rumpusing the Discord server, while I point out that gas is never going to be sitting in that category that you use with the word solid. That's retarded.
To make it simple for you, Nathan, to make it simple for you so you could understand, because obviously you don't understand very much.
No, that's just another ad hominem. No address to the fact that gas, definitely not solid.
Come on, guys. This is nonsense.
No,
He wasn't claiming that.
Arwen.
He was just describing it in an example. He's
Arwen.
plenty as stupid without this, okay?
Sorry, he described gas as solid. Those.
No, I did not, you moron. Oh,
He
my
just
God.
used
You
it
used
as
the
an
word
example.
solid. That's what you
Straw
described
man.
it as.
Straw man.
If it's solid, not a straw man, that's what you said. Those were your words.
Like, to make it simple for you.
Those were your
That's
words.
it.
Oh, to make it simple. So you did say those words, then you did use
to
the word
make it
solid
simple
then.
for you, Nathan. So
Oh,
you
to make it simple. In other words, yes, he did use those words. Not a straw man, just wrong. Gas is not solid. Regardless of your description of making it simple for me, you're just retarded. Because gas is not
It wasn't the
solid.
subject. He was talking
Why
about
are you
the
rumpusing me,
reference
Arwin?
frame.
Gas is not
Look,
solid.
Arwen.
No matter how much you want to
wasn't
agree with him,
claiming
Arwin.
that.
Yeah, he
Arwen.
did. Yeah, he did. He's just agreed and said it's to make it simple for me, Arwin. So you're wrong also. He used
No,
the word...
He said as
He
if.
used the word solid. And I pointed out that it's an anisotropic, inhomogeneous mixture of gases and absolutely not solid, even though he wants to tell us that it's to make it simple for us.
Yes, but I've got to make things simple for you, Nathan.
See?
Said as
See?
if.
See?
Make
He's
it-
trying to make it simple for us, Arwin, by describing something that is not solid as solid. Wrong. Retarded. Incorrect. Okay?
Irrelevant. You said as if. He was only describing the lockstep movement of the atmosphere.
Oh, well, it
That
doesn't...
Didn't have anything to
it-
do with what.
Yeah, it does, Arwin. You're pissing me right off. It can't move in lockstep if it's completely separate and not solid. But for some reason, you also now want to rumpus this point, so I've got to shut Arwin's line down. Because for some reason, when he describes the atmosphere in lockstep and uses the word solid, describing gas moving in lockstep, and I absolutely pummel it by pointing out that it's not solid, that it's an inhomogeneous mixture of gases, that it's not solid. And he agrees that he has used solid by saying it's to make it simple. No, it's to lie about it being in lockstep, which it could only be if it was solid and somehow velcroed to the atmosphere as a solid. But it can't be, because it's not solid. It's a mixture of gases flowing freely in all directions, and is never going to travel in lockstep with his reification of a spinning world. It's absolutely on topic, Arwen. It surprises me that you'd want to rumpus this. But there we go. Such is life. Very strange times.
Rumpus,
Okay.
atmosphere is lockstep, but man walking is not lockstep.
Yeah.
Correct. Yes, that's right.
Yeah, total bollocks, doublespeak.
Well, that would mean that walking, like with the spin of the Earth,
Yeah, something actually
makes you
attached,
go,
Arwen.
slower
Arwen.
against it,
Summary time.
wouldn't it?
Something actually attached, like a man walking on the surface, according to Rumpus, is in a separate reference frame, moving in relation to the reference frame it's on. However, gas, which he describes as solid, is actually moving in lockstep with this non-inertial reference frame.
I'm just going by the reference frame claims, that's all. And Rumpus is saying, okay, the gas is moving with it, but when you move, you don't. So that means that you, as you walk, would be affected by Coriolis. So if you walk in one direction of the presupposed spin of the Earth, you would be going faster than in the other. If
That's
you
correct.
are indeed a separate reference frame, as Rumpus claims.
Yes, that's correct. So what he's saying is walking, you will absolutely be affected by Coriolis effect. However, the fact that we have surface winds, no, they're solid. They move in lockstep with the rotating surface of the Earth, giving rise to zero Coriolis effect, because you'd need two separate reference frames in order to give rise to a Coriolis effect. But as we established earlier on this show, Rumpus is fundamentally retarded. He's stupid. And he keeps projecting that I don't understand reference frames, apparent deviation, the Coriolis effect in essence, while he simultaneously tells us that we have a solid gas in lockstep with a rotating non-inertial reference frame, which wouldn't give rise to Coriolis effect in the slightest on Earth. So he's just fundamentally retarded, a moron, to put the correct terminology on it, and projecting, because he keeps telling us that we don't understand this. Well, he would need to understand that you'd need a separate atmosphere, which it absolutely is. It's not a solid, to have a Coriolis effect. But Rumpus is thick. He doesn't understand what Coriolis effect is. Rumpus, you've conceded. Coriolis affects everything that's not fixed to the Earth, as it should. So planes, helicopters, balloons, oh, just bullets, lol. Shout out to Ray Nimrod for the super chat. Really do appreciate your support. And with that, I'm going to say, if you are watching on the Nathan Oakley premiering stream, then stay tuned, as there will be an after show to follow. However, if you're watching live on Nathan Oakley 1980, this is where we bid you farewell. A huge, massive, enormous thank you to all of you. Smashed the super chat, liked, commented, shared, subscribed, and all that good stuff. Be sure to check out nathanoakley.com and the Flat Earth Debate Forum, which you should definitely all join. Also, of course, a massive thank you to all of today's debating panel for making this live show possible. I've been Nathan Oakley. Stay tuned if you're watching on the premiering stream, and I'll see you all in the next video.
Oh, what a day! What a lovely day!